I don't think anybody can do exactly what Juszczyk does in certain areas. Obviously, in the run games, certain blocking techniques other tight ends can do. Obviously, that wouldn't happen with 11 personnel on the field. So you'll probably see just a little different run game in terms of the concepts if Juszczyk is not out there. Boy, I hope he plays. He's a fun player to watch.
What did you write down about Jalen Hurts?
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually thought that the Eagles' passing game was conceptually the best that it's been all year. They actually ran a lot of concepts that you really like to see that most NFL teams run, which the Eagles haven't done much at all of this year, which is always led me to the question of why. That's always been my question because I don't know why they haven't done that because they're basic concepts that every team runs. And I actually thought Jalen Hurts made some very good throws in that game. And for people who just look at a sheet and see 4 interceptions, which obviously you can't have 4 interceptions. But as I've told you guys when we've talked about Brock Purdy numerous times, I tell you that each interception has to be looked at as an isolated play, not as a number on a stat sheet page.
And when you look at that game, it just was kind of a crazy back and forth of a turnover-laden slop fest. When you look at Philadelphia beyond just that game, what are you seeing on tape, Greg, from a Super Bowl team to now a team kind of fighting for its life?
Well, one thing I've spoken about a lot, and a lot of people lose sight of this. Look, I think there's a sense from many people, and maybe I'm in a little different category because I'm studying tape and seeing how teams really play. But there's a clear sense of 3 things that go together, that go A, B to C. Number 1, quarterback's the most important position on the field. Team wins, quarterback's great. I think there's a sense that that's the way most people think. But I've talked to people many times about the fact that even a year ago when they won the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP, but in 9 or 10 games a year ago, he didn't even throw for 200 yards. So they were not a passing team a year ago. They got an historic season from Saquon Barkley. Their O-line was maybe the best in the league a year ago. This year it's in the bottom half of the league, by the way. So Hurts, obviously what he just did was very out of character, but he rarely turns the ball over. And they do a lot of things. I'm going back to last year. They did a lot of things that were very difficult to defend and made teams have to defend them differently, but they were not a passing team. They didn't win because he was going, 27 for 38 for 350 yards. That's not the way they played offense.
So, Greg, here's a weekly tradition in all sports. A coach comes to a podium and someone asks him about the lead player on the other team. And then that coach just starts throwing all kinds of praise at that player, no matter how good that player is or not. It happened with Kyle Shanahan, and he was asked about Cam Ward. And I'm not telling you that Cam's not good, but he's a rookie, and obviously they're not winning football games. Can you give us the actual review of Cam Ward so far?
Well, I'll give you an overview, and then I'll get into the weeds a little bit. The overview is that he's on a bad football team in terms of overall talent. The O-line, which actually has a strong pedigree, has played poorly. It's probably played in terms of pass protection as one of the 3 or 4 worst offensive lines in the league. When they ran the ball well, maybe for the first time all season, their running game has been incredibly poor. So you're dealing with a quarterback that has the 5th most dropbacks of any quarterback in the NFL, which is the last thing you want from a rookie quarterback behind a poor pass-protecting O-line. So that's just a little bit of an overview of their offense and their team. In terms of the player himself, I think Cam Ward, and I thought he was clearly the best quarterback prospect in the draft. Now, he's a guy with a really good arm. He can make a lot of throws. There's a couple of throws every game where you go, wow, that is a really big-time NFL throw. But I think there's things that clearly need to be worked on from a fundamental mechanic perspective. And normally you can't get to do that during the season because you're so focused on game planning. But he needs a lot of work with his lower body mechanics. He needs to just speed up everything he does. He's a little deliberate. And I'm talking about even the physical stuff, his drop into the pocket, get your you-know-what back there and be ready to deliver the football. In college football, you guys, I'm sure, watch a lot of college football as well. You see a lot of quarterbacks, they don't really drop back. They kind of dance back there, because the college game is totally different than the NFL game. You need to get back there, plant your back foot, be ready to deliver, be on balance. Too many throws off balance, which lead him to be not as precise with his ball location as is required in the NFL. These are fixable things, but it's going to take another off season. And I think the most important thing that they have to do when you draft a quarterback, number one, the whole point of everything in your building, from the janitors to the owner to everybody in the building, must be to make that guy an all-pro. So that whoever they hire as a coach, that is going to be a really, really important deal. Because if Cam Ward doesn't become a great player, those same people are getting fired again in 2 or 3 years.
No, I mean, no doubt. And you look at 9 touchdowns in 13 games for the team, and he's been sacked.
Yep.
They've been sacked 49 times. And I wonder about the Niners pass rush, Greg, and what you've seen over the last couple of games, especially. What is Robert Saleh doing now that's allowing the Niners to be at least a little bit marginally better getting after the quarterback?
Well, I think, Huff came back, and Huff has played well as a one-on-one pass rusher. He missed, 3 or 4 games? I can't remember the exact number, but he missed some games. And he's played much better, just as a one-on-one pass rusher. He's not a big blitzer, but I think he's been a little more selective with when he does that. We've seen and I know he's hurt. I don't know if he's back. What's Bethune's status?
I don't know that we've got anything definitive on him yet.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting that he's going to be back, but we're not totally sure.
But I mean, he was used a little bit before he got hurt as a blitzer, and he showed some ability to do that. So, I think when players can start winning some one-on-one matchups, it changes everything about your pass rush. When guys don't win, it just seems like, I almost feel like it makes your whole defense seem not so good. Sometimes I use a baseball analogy that if you have bad starting pitching and it seems like you're down 6-0 in the 5th inning in every game, it makes your whole team look really bad. Even if your whole team isn't bad, it might just be your starting pitching. But if you can't rush the quarterback with 4, boy, does it make your defense look not really good. And don't forget, they're still playing with a second-year, first-year starter at one corner spot in Green, a player I like, but he's a first-year full-time starter. And Lenore is the other outside corner. And in an ideal world, I would bet if you got truth serum with Robert Saleh, he would probably tell you in an ideal world that Lenore is a slot, but he can't be a slot on this team. He has to play outside, and Stout is their slot. So, it makes everything, it has an effect, a domino effect, if you can't rush the quarterback efficiently with 4.
Is Ricky Pearsall, since he came back from the injury, he's not been all that involved. Do you see that more as like they just kind of got into a flow without him, or do you see him as not playing at 100% still?
Well, that I can't tell. I mean, if a guy's out on the field, it's not like he's running around limping. I can't tell, how he feels, overall. But, we've talked about the fact, but it is a little extreme that he hasn't been targeted very much. I will agree with you on that 100%. But I don't think they think in terms of, we better get Ricky Pearsall involved or else. You'd like to think now as they've had the bye and they've had a chance, one thing teams do, and there's no question Kyle Shanahan and his staff did it because he's, fanatical about all this stuff. I guarantee they did some major self-scouting, and it'll be interesting to see. Nothing will dramatically change. It's not like they're going to have a whole new offense. That won't happen. We know what Kyle believes about his offense, but it'll be interesting to see if Ricky Pearsall becomes more involved.
The Shanahan offense, when Juszczyk's not out there, and he was limited with the ribs, he's got either broken or fractured ribs. We don't know if he's going to play. When Juszczyk's not out there, what does Kyle Shanahan do that you see on tape to try to mitigate the lack of a fullback?
Well, it'll obviously be a Ricky Pearsall game then, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, since he's paired with the greatest QB ever, yeah.
Right. Well, I assume you're going to see more 11 personnel. They could play more 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, obviously, because they do have those players on the roster. So, you won't see another fullback out there because they don't really have one. So you'll see different personnel packages. I don't think anybody can do exactly what Juszczyk does in certain areas. There, obviously, in the run games, certain blocking techniques other tight ends can do. Obviously, that wouldn't happen with 11 personnel on the field. So you'll probably see just a little different run game in terms of the concepts if Juszczyk is not out there. Boy, I hope he plays. He's a fun player to watch. But ribs, I guess it all depends. How serious it is. You can pad those up. But if they're broken or displaced or whatever, then you're getting into the pain issue.
We may see a quarterback coming back at 45, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And Mark was curious earlier. What did you see on tape last time he played?
Well, yeah, he played in 2020. I guess Joe Montana was unavailable. Did they reach out to him?
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unconfirmed.
That's good material.
Right. I love Phillip Rivers. I thought he was basically Peyton Manning. He just never got to a Super Bowl. I thought the way he played was the same way, controlling the game, super intelligent. But his last year playing, he just couldn't throw the ball very well at all. That's just the reality. That's because I remember watching him and just sort of feeling like, Phillip, you were so good. I think, hey, Father Time catches up to everyone, So I can't imagine his arm is any better. He hasn't played football. I know he's coached it. So, he's been on a football field. I'm sure he's tossed around a football. And what could your body be like after not playing football for 5 years? I can't imagine.